Hi there, my name is Lindsay Maddox, and I am a graduate student at UNC Charlotte and also a first grade teacher in Cabarrus County. The strategy that I'm going to be introducing to you tonight is topic subtopic details. This reading strategy was actually pulled from the Reading Strategies book, which is your Everything Guide to Developing Skilled Readers, written by Jennifer Cervello. And in this book, she discusses how she has also pulled some of her strategies, specifically this one from Harvey and Gudvis, and her research within their book, Strategies That Work, Teaching Comprehension for Understanding and Engagement. So this strategy can be used in a multiple different ways with multiple different students. It can be focused on grades 1 through 5, but could also be given to grades that are higher, depending on how it's applied within their reading and within your modeling. It is selected for reading levels J through Z, but again can be modified to fit the needs of your readers. This strategy is basically using nonfiction text, and the students are going to be working to develop their retelling and summarizing skills. It can also be used digitally, which I'll go into. It does scaffold into main idea and identifying key details as well. Specifically hitting the standards RI 1.1, ask and answer questions about key details in a text, and RI 1.2, identify the main topic and retell key details of a text. So I used this strategy specifically with my first grade class. We are in the middle of our informational text unit and have just finished going over the nonfiction text features and how to read a nonfiction text. So now what we are working on is using the information that we are reading to help us organize our thoughts and actually learn about that topic. And then we will scaffold into learning about main idea and supporting details with that. So this strategy is really nice because it allows the students to not only read the text and to understand the text features, but it helps them to visually see how the information is organized and how they are learning about topics and subtopics through the details that are provided in the text. So the first thing that you'll want to do when doing this strategy in your class is gather a nonfiction text that your students could read at their independent level. So in my classroom, when I was doing this, I decided to choose a text that we have been reading in their guided reading groups in the past so that they are familiar with it and they're comfortable being able to dig deep and pull information from their readings. So we chose the book All Kinds of Homes. It's a nonfiction text that was on the independent level of my entire group that I did this strategy with. And the first thing that you want to have them do is ask them to go through and look through the headings and any subheadings of the book. Now, for my students, I did have to remind them that headings will always have a larger font than subheadings. And in this instance, this book does not have subheadings, but I was still able to use this strategy because it had topic and then subtopics. So after your students have gone through and looked throughout your book, ask them to select one section of the book to focus on. So within this book, we focus specifically kind of here on this page first. We looked at the page that talks about cabins. So what is the topic of this section is the next thing that you want to ask your students. So the main topic for this book is all kinds of homes. So it's important for them to understand that this entire book is focusing its big topic on all kinds of homes. Then when looking at the subtopic, we talked about how each of these headings talks about a subtopic that describes all kinds of the homes that were introduced. So the subtopic that they chose for this page was cabins. And then again, we wrote it down here in our chart to help us keep it organized. And then what we did is we've really been working on going back to the text and pulling details. So I had the students find at least 2 details that supported their subtopic cabins as being a kind of home. So when going back through, they were able to pull details from the text and then pull them down here. I did allow them to write more than 2 if they could find more than 2. And I also talked with them about how not every text will have 2 specific details to support a subtopic. Sometimes the subtopics are so small and so broad that they do not have at least two details. So we touched on that fact as well, but this particular book did have at least two details for each subtopic, so we went ahead and they included two. So the last part is to have the students complete the chart. So I modeled first. I used this book and I actually showed them how to do the apartments page as the subtopic. And then I gave two details about apartments being a different kind of home. So when I let them do this on their own, it's a very easy strategy for them to go right through the text independently. They can pull the topic and the subtopic and all of the details straight from that text. After they have pulled all of this information and they are done, what I wanted them to do was to go back and reflect. So I asked my students, what did you learn about a kind of home? So you're telling me that you learned all about kinds of homes. What did you learn? And their immediate response is, I learned about cabins. I learned about houseboats. I learned about motorhomes. And then we want to focus that down towards, what did you learn about cabins? And that's where we want to guide them into using these details to support what they learned about cabins. This week, my class is moving into main idea, and this strategy has really helped them kind of focus their attention into what was the topic of the passage or the story. Did I have any subtopics? And then what details to support it? This is an extremely hard skill for first graders to be able to look at a text or a passage and determine one main idea that is supported by the rest of the details. So this physically kind of helped my students see the scaffolding of how you can take one topic, it can have multiple subtopics, and then each subtopic has those details. So if you are not wanting to use this on the handout like here provided, this would be a great thing for students to be able to use on Post-it notes or in their reader's response journals or even on loose paper. If you have access to digital resources, this would be a great thing to tie in over here. I mentioned that you can use digital nonfiction text. We have several different resources that we use that have text on there that are nonfiction, and they're great nonfiction texts. So if you can use those are good texts for your students to use independently. Another way that you can go digital with this strategy is you can have your students respond to this chart in a Google Doc, and then you can have your class share their Google Doc with each other so that the students can see how others are organizing their information. Or you can also have them respond to a forum post. A lot of our upper grades in our school are using Canvas, so this would be a great thing to load onto Canvas. Give them the challenge of using the topic, subtopic, and details for either a specific text or a independent text of their choice and have them respond to it. So this strategy is available in the Reading Strategies book, or you can also use it on your own. Again, it is topic, subtopic, details, and this is a great strategy for you to use to help those students transfer their information that they are reading and organize it so that they can learn from it. Thank you and have a great day.